For this week's discussion, I went back to my master's degree, my specialization for my master's degree, which is in the Civil War and World War II studies. As a teacher and a substitute teacher, I've often been asked by students, what were the causes of the Civil War? What is secession? Why did secession happen? I've always been interested myself in secession and have always wanted to do a paper on secession and research secession. So that's why I chose the two sources that I chose for this week's discussion. The two sources that I chose talked about Confederate nationalism and secession. One of the books I chose was by Paul Quigley, and it's named Shifting Grounds, Nationalism in the American South, 1848 to 1865. And the other book that I chose was by William L. Varney, and the name of it is Rebels in the Making, the Secession Crisis and the Birth of the Confederacy. Nationalism was a set of ideas that gave the Confederacy a reason for its independence and gave the Confederacy a reason for secession. Confederate nationalism is controversial, and many researchers and authors believe that it's the Confederate nationalism and the lack of it that eventually led to the defeat of the Confederacy. Secession is defined as a voluntary withdrawal of one or more states from the Union. South Carolina was the first state to secede from the Union in December of 1860 with their Declaration of Immediate Causes, which was used to justify their secession and explain why they seceded from the Union. Within 3 months of Lincoln's election, 7 more states seceded from the Union. In Shifting Grounds by Paul Quigley, he discusses the regional conflict over slavery and the problems of Confederate nationalism, allegiance, and identity. He also discusses secession and as well as the shifting meanings of nationalism and citizenship. He also discusses how the Confederate government was formed and the problems that led to the government, the problems with the Confederate government. In Varney's book, Rebels in the Making, he discusses secession in the states, the Confederate states, and the problems with secession. He also discusses slavery and how it was the center of the crisis. And he also discusses secession in different parts of the South as well and what led to secession. Secession and Confederate nationalism are important topics in the Civil War and causes in the Civil War and what led to the Civil War, and that's why I chose that topic for my discussion this week.